Last weekend, huge visitors. Calvin Russell from Miami Northwestern, Jay Lamar from Colquitt County, Georgia, the running back, Ty Javion, given name. Zion Robinson from Kentucky, a big 6'3" receiver. Blake Stewart from Woodward Academy in Georgia. Israel Briggs from California, a tight end who has moved up his commitment date as Mr. Briggs, and that is going to be next Tuesday, actually. And I believe it is Miami or LSU for the six. I mean, he's like a big receiver. He's like 6'5", 210 right now. But, a couple protein shakes, hit the squat rack, deadlift a little bit, and then you're going to be in that 220, 230 range. And then, you're a little bit lighter than Elijah Arroyo kind of a thing. So, he was another person who visited. He's from California, by the way, if I didn't say that. Tyron Evans, who's committed, a 6'3", 200-pound receiver committed to Tennessee. Orlando Edgewater linebacker Justin Edwards committed to Rutgers. There were so many guys that were, around. Reese Woodrow, JJ Sparks, two of the offensive line commits were on campus as well. And, just another week of huge numbers and quality of official visitors. So, when you look at all of the blue chippers that have been through Miami this spring, I think that all of the commitments that are going to be forthcoming starting like next week are really going to start to shape what this class, like the potential overall for how high this class can fly towards being number one in America, which I don't think is a crazy hope, but might be, it's aspirational if nothing else. You know what I mean? Definitely looking top 5. If you are up there and you do, win a couple battles, you could be, number 1. So I think that these commitments that are coming up in the next little bit are really going to tell the story. In the past, it was Miami versus Alabama on the recruiting trail. Now that seems to be, let me stop. In terms of pursuing elite 5 stars and like top blue chip talents, it was Miami versus Alabama for years. I wrote a piece about it several years ago where Miami actually, went 50-50-ish. I think they were a little bit over 50% head-to-head against Alabama, with the major caveat that there were 78 dudes on that roster that wouldn't even return Miami's phone call in terms of recruiting. So the ones that you went for, you were fairly successful, but there was a whole caliber and class of recruit and player on that roster that wouldn't even pay any attention. It's a similar type thing with Georgia. We're still trying to get all the way up into that level, but there's a lot of head-to-heads right now. Already beat them head up for Jackson Cantwell, Chris Ewald in the last class. They beat us for Tyreek Stevenson years ago, and then he came back down here. And there's many, 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 many others along those lines. And there's several in this class as well, that Miami and Georgia are going head up for. It'll be interesting to see what shakes out at running back. Javion Mallory actually visited Alabama last weekend, and Derek Cooper visited Miami 2 weeks ago, and then Jay Lamar last week. Between those 3, I think you need 2. Miami would take all 3. I don't think you have spots for all 3. But you got to get 2 of those 3. So, it's always a thing. And, Mario said, if you're looking, we're looking. So, we want Javion Mallory. If he's looking, we're looking. And, any permutation of 2 of 3 of that would be great. But I think you really got to have Derek Cooper and one of the other 2 is really where that goes. But Derek Cooper also be recruited by who? Georgia. Ty Javion Lamar, who's from Georgia. Jay Lamar, also from Georgia, being recruited by Georgia, so like there's the other 2 running backs of those 3, and there's many, many, many more. So, Miami's done, I think, a good job setting the foundation for this class. um, really, really need to close. Um, and I saw that there were a bunch of people saying, um, what is that? It's when you get out ahead of the crash, you know what I mean, or the whatever the event. I have seen, heard, and read several people talking about, Calvin Russell wouldn't surprise me if it's LSU or somebody that's not Miami for him. And when you see it once and it's from like the other side, you're like, okay, well, and then you see it from you know more people in the recruiting space and even more Miami centric people in the recruiting space, and things like that. It there's a lot of smoke to that. Um, I think it would be not a great look to have Tristan Keys and Calvin Russell go to LSU, forestalling, forewarning Kenson. Yeah, it just but like I said, I saw, heard, and read all of those things. Yeah, a couple few instances of people being like, Calvin Russell in Miami is probably not going to happen. So you know, soft pedaling early, getting that out there so that if and when, again, as the smoke continues to build, it seems like when that happens, yeah, be ready and accepting of that kind of a thing.